Hello, everybody, and welcome to Outlawed Picks podcast. Welcome back. It's been a while.
I feel like I'm nervous to do this.
Not much.
Like I'm back with all my friends.
How was training camp?
It was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I did miss doing these Picks podcasts. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're so out of practice.
I'm so out of practice. I can't even say it. Yeah. Sorry we missed it. I feel like, yeah, it was for a good reason.
It was. It was a pretty good reason, wasn't it? And you got the victory.
Yeah.
3 fights in a row.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to interview you a little bit.
They don't care about this. They just care about the fight.
Of course they do. If they watched the podcast, they were tuned into the prelims, waiting and anticipating and looking forward.
Dude, there were so many people. There were so many people out for the first fight. It got me so hyped. I was like, no way. You all showed up. You know? It's like if they throw you a surprise party and you thought you only had 3 friends, but actually you had like 25.
Even though you don't recognize 15 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they still.
And the walkout music went down well?
Yeah, it was really cool.
What did you use? You got to give Chase and Status
Better Than by Chase and Status.
Better Than. Bada-dun.
Even Michael Bisping was like, yeah. She's walking out to a tune.
DJ Mikey B with his glow sticks, for sure.
Yeah, that was cool. And then, I started dancing and the claps diminished significantly. So I was like, oh. In my head, I thought, obviously because I commentate for Aries. So then sometimes some of the fighters, they walk out and it takes them so long to get to the cage that you don't know if you're going to start your next point because they've taken so long to get to the cage, or if it's going to, like how to manage that time. And I'm like, well, I'm probably doing this for the audience right now. I better stop dancing. Just get in there.
It's the first time you've felt like dancing though on a walkout.
Yeah.
Which is a good sign.
Yeah, it was good. I've seen others where I just come out and I'm like, Jesus,
just
chill.
Angry.
Yeah, just full-blown anger all the time.
Yeah.
But
so how did you feel about the fight then?
Not great.
Why?
Because I messed up. I messed up on things that like you told me and that you'd been telling me all camp. So like, as soon as in the 3rd round, as soon as it started going south, I was like, he told you about this and he told you about that, and I'm like, yeah, but can you focus on what's going on?
That's not why I asked you the question, by the way.
Okay.
For you to let everybody know that I told you so.
Yeah. Like
the good thing is
times.
Though, the good thing is what I'll do is I'll get Jamie to clip that bit out and I'll just get him to record it on repeat, and then we can send it to you as like a meditation for the next training camp.
What?
You just going, and you told me that, and you told me that.
Yeah, but you told me that on like the first fight I had back, and then you had other stuff that you told me on the second fight, and then other stuff that you told me on the 3rd fight, and it's just like, it's annoying. Because you can't even enjoy it. Because you just have that in your brain. Like, all the things you were told not to do. And you did them. And it's not even like you got away with them. But you didn't get away with them. You just messed up.
You did so many things good, though. It's you that's being critical about it. I've not even, like, we've watched it back a bunch of times. And I've just enjoyed it. You're the one that's like, ugh. But that's because you can hear my voice in your head during the fight.
I can hear your voice in my head all the time.
Sorry about that. I can hear several of my voices in my head.
Anything like logical, well. I just hear it.
That's a whole other podcast, though.
We're slowly getting the truth out of you.
Well, if you talk enough, eventually it comes out.
All right, let's talk about these fights.
No,
now.
I still want to talk about your fight.
What else is there to talk about?
Well, how is it different to any of the others? Because the reason I'm asking you these questions is because we've had these conversations, you and I, but I think it'd be interesting for the people watching to like understand how your fights have been different from one to the next. Like, so this one was very different to the Miller fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, they've all been different, and they've all been kind of this like progressive journey in me knowing myself as an individual better and just kind of owning my martial arts more. I feel that's the biggest difference, because opponent that you get, they don't matter as much in the end of the day if if you see this as a martial artist, it's just another person that's giving you the opportunity to deep dive into something that you will have to face when you're in the fight. And that's the difference that I feel with every fight, that I kind of unlock a more intimate version of myself, that I get to know myself more in these chaotic situations. I feel that's the biggest difference. As things progress, I hone my own knowledge more, and it comes to show more, and I'm able to stand just that inch closer in the fight, just to kind of let it flow with understanding and not with chaos. And that brings a lot of grounding and certainty when you step in there. Because it's with chaos, that's the thing with chaos. You don't know what the outcome is. But when you went through scenario times scenario and you start to see these things work in practice in the fights, then you get one step closer to another leap. And that's the beauty.
And why we
nothing. It just went from me giggling to like a different person.
Super serious.
Just wanted to bring the mood back down.
And why was everybody else in the warm-up area wearing Venom and you were wearing Tool?
Well, because first of all,
yes. You can see I need to move this mic just a little bit because I can't see you very well. It's like,
okay, yeah, but they need to hear me more than you need to see me.
I don't know about that. That's debatable. I can never figure out these mic things.
Oh yeah, don't worry. Jamie has probably put time codes already for if you just want to get to the fights.
Yeah.
For you don't want to go through
time codes
for
if you want to skip past me messing with the mics.
Yeah. So we're gonna go see Tool in Birmingham. Yes! I'm so excited. Oh, that's on camera. Oh no, yeah, no, I'm very excited. Like,
yep. And they wished you luck before the fight.
They did. I was a bit nervous before it, and then they sent me that, and I was like, "That's it. I will kill anybody."
They're all doomed. Line them up, top 15, one after another.
Oh yeah, all right. Let's talk about these fights now.
All right. Okay, fine. So UFC 3. I keep wanting to say 203. We had to like restart the war room a few times. So I kept going, UFC main event 203. I'm like, hang on a minute. We've been in the 200s for like a long time now. 302. UFC 302. I was just having a look at there's some good scraps on the undercard, aren't there?
Yeah, there are. So I'm excited about Jocelyn Edwards versus Eileen Perez because they had that little beef in the UFC PI. When people have some beef behind, it gets me more excited because, puts into the drama.
You love drama.
I love the drama. It adds it like because you get to like pick a side on who you thought was right, and you get more invested in the fights. And it's not just people, throwing shots at each other. There's like a stance with it.
Dude, it's a whole future TV show, the UFC Performance Institute.
Dude, yes. Like you have no idea. Oh my goodness. I'm pretty sure they have cameras there. If they would release that footage.
That's the thing though. Like when you've got a whole roster full of people and they're all confident they can beat each other up, and then you put them all in a building together with cages and punch bags and stuff. It's like it's the ideal place to create chaos.
There are some people that really get along, but you just have to be maybe different genders or way different weight classes. I'm talking at least 4. 4 in dividing, then you'll have some good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Basil, because he fought Jack Della Maddalena, right? I remember watching his fight with him.
Oh yes,
and he was like really tough for Maddalena, and Mickey Gold's been having a rough time lately.
They're all good fights. I mean, look, like Nico Price, Alex Morono is a good scrap. Phil Rowe, Jake Matthews are another good scrap.
Yeah. Oh, I saw Alex Moreau in St. Louis.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to say hi, almost like I knew him, but I realized that I didn't actually know him. I just watched him fight and stuff. So I just stood there kind of creepily like, going to say hi and then didn't. So yeah,
it's because he's kind of got that high speed, like nervous energy.
Yeah,
it's
just
like he says so much,
awkward.
like you really feel like you know him and you're rooting for him.
Yeah,
He's a super sharp individual.
Grant Dawson is a good scrap. I really like Grant Dawson as a fighter. He's just very efficient. Take you down, get your back, choke you out.
Yeah,
that's it. Don't mess around with it.
Okay, what we doing? Main card?
Yeah, so and right before, we got to say Roman Kopylov.
Because we've not mentioned that one, and we've mentioned all of the others.
Yeah, well, because I'm going from down up.
Andre Lima versus...
Well, I don't know about those guys. So.
You go on. Nyamjagal Termendembarel. I think that's pretty much on the money. Maybe just a little bit faster.
Okay. Yeah. Kopylov, sick kicks. And then he's now like growing and he's like, fighting somebody who's 5-0. I don't really understand that too much. But he is coming off that loss against Anthony Hernandez after kind of like...
Is that body shots?
No, because Hernandez, remember... Oh, I don't remember actually. But Hernandez is the one that
Fluffy.
Isn't as clean. Yeah, he's not as clean, but he'll like outlast people.
Yeah. He's the middleweight Barberena.
Yeah, I remember because I picked him on
right?
we did. I picked him. That was the last Picks podcast we did.
After what he did to Rodolfo Vieira, outlasting him and submitting him.
Exactly. Right. That's why I picked him. I was just like, this guy might do that.
And his nickname's Fluffy.
Like got respect.
Yeah.
One of the best YouTube videos is Cormier saying, "I'm all about the cake, and chicken. It's all about the cake, and chicken."
How did we get on that?
I've watched that so many times.
Where did we get on that? Where did that come from?
Because his nickname's Fluffy. So I'm just saying, I root for the jobster.
Oh, right. Oh, is that why he's called Fluffy?
Because he's a little bit fluffy, like.
Is that right? Okay.
Well, I don't know if that is, but I mean, it's not like he's super ripped either.
Well, you've decided that now. That exists in the MMA universe.
I hope no fighter watches this because the thing is they do to beat me up.
The thing is they do. I get messages sometimes from them, mainly like cussing you out and saying that you've been very rude and you've upset them, unfollowing us on social media.
Oh, I got followed by Volkanovski.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
What, down the street or on socials?
I picked him.
One's good, one's bad. I mean.
Yeah, no, on socials.
Okay, that's cool.
I was like, yes. You should have followed me before. I would have given you luck.
Oh, that's why he lost by head kick. Because he's not following
you.
Well,
Ilya was following me. And I did an interview with Ilya.
So that's why he's champ.
And that's why I should have known by then that logic was fake. Listen, we need to get into this. We are so out of practice. We're so sorry.
Sorry.
This will start now. Jamie will start.
People have missed this. They can skip past this if they want. You can skip past it if you want. I'm not offended.
Okay. Randy Brown versus Elizeu Zaleski.
Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos.
Yeah, that one.
That one. So, okay. Let me do teletype.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. See how bossy she is. Okay, Randy Brown, 18-5 for Randy Brown. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, 24-7-1. Now, of course, Randy Brown will have the height advantage, being 6'3". He will also have a 5-inch reach advantage. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. We need to shorten that somehow because I can't keep repeating that.
Let's just say Zaleski.
Zaleski. I feel like he's been around forever. I feel like he's like always been like he's like.
No, he's 37.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like I literally feel like he joined the roster while I was on the roster. That's why I feel like he's been around forever.
Probably.
Like Randy Brown was not on the roster when I was on the roster. That means he's like one of the new fighters. If you were on the roster the same time as me, that means you're old. It's old.
It is old.
It is old. So
well, he joined in 2015.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like he's been on the roster.
No, because I joined 2016 and you weren't fighting. You were commentating.
But that's my perception of him though, which is all right. A lot of people didn't see you wink at me then. So you're not going to see that on the podcast.
I think that was just for you.
Oh, that was just for me, was it? Yeah. On the podcast that we're recording for these
yeah,
people.
but they can't see this side. Now you told them. Dude, let's get in this podcast.
Okay. So, where are we starting? Randy Brown.
Okay. Yes, let's start with Randy Brown.
No, look, what I was saying is, look, Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, I feel like he's been around for a long time. He's been one of those kind of fighters that's like floating around like at the top 15, just outside of it, and has not ever quite been able to bridge that gap.
Yeah, because he had a doping suspension and then he had a knee injury. So, that they take you away from being active in the sport.
All right.
Well, I feel like these things...
him out.
I've not ratted him out. I don't know what the doping suspension was.
Something.
I heard it in commentary that he had a doping. I didn't go into like deep dive of it. So.
How long was he out for?
I don't know. But
what?
Nothing. I just feel like in general we should keep better track of these doping suspensions that people have, because it just kind of always seems to go under the radar.
They should have a PED's ranking.
How many times you get?
How many times, and the length of time that you get suspended, and the amount of money that you get fined for. That could be how it's determined. I wonder who's number one.
Jones.
You reckon? Because he wasn't suspended for long, was he?
Yeah, but all the media around him. It's just he's like the most. The one that you just can't deny. There's a lot of people that have been like suspended for doping, and that you don't really know unless you research the person.
Yeah. But
for Jones, it's like, they call him pictogram.
So that's why you said it. See, I don't know. I bet there's been someone that kind of, they made their debut on like the prelims, the early prelims. So no one noticed that they were there. They failed a drug test then, and they were suspended for like 18 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Actually, I know one fighter that didn't even get to make their debut because they were suspended.
Gossip.
Actually, I know a lot of fighters that have done that.
We won't veer down that channel then.
Okay, Dos Santos. Like, just away from that. Dos Santos Zaleski.
Go on then. Break it down.
I felt like I find this fight very interesting, and this is the main reason why. Because in his last fight versus Renat, let's just stick to that. It was it seems for him in the first like 20 to 30 seconds, he's not all quite in there. And if you attack him ferociously, you can get him down.
He got dropped early in that.
Yeah, in that fight. And
Fakhretdinov.
Also with Nurmagomedov. That also happened.
Abubakar.
Yeah.
Abubakar.
I wasn't the one that even said it. Look, it was Brendan Fitzgerald. I'm throwing him under the bus. It ain't gonna be me.
It's actually Mystery's fault, because when he first said it, he read it as it is written, and he just said Abubakar, and I'm like, I'm sure it's got to be pronounced Abubakar or something. Like there's got to be like an inflection in it in somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the commentary teams, they all say Abubakar, so maybe I'm wrong. It just doesn't sound like it's right, though. You know what I mean? I feel like I need him to say it.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he's going to call you soon to tell you how to say it.
I'm hoping so. I'm waiting on the call. I expect that he has my number already.
Get back to it. Focus.
It's you that diverted.
How am I the one diverted?
I don't remember.
Anyway.
Nurmagomedov.
Okay.
Yes.
When he fought both of these last fighters, it was in the beginning, especially because he gets a little bit tall when he's not found his range yet. And sometimes when he's doing the head movement, he does it like, when you have that tiny ball in front and you have to keep hitting it?
Yep.
You know how you kind of zone your eyes out so you could hit it better?
Yep.
You do that thing where you just like...
Yep.
I feel like he does that sometimes while doing his like head movement. And that's why he's getting caught with some things that he shouldn't be... he shouldn't be getting caught with. But here's the interesting part that I found. In the second round, because they fought in Brazil, right? He got the crowd really invested to where it was making Renat do like dumb choices.
Yeah.
It was just making him do like stupid things I don't mean that offensively, but I mean like he got so much into the crowd and pleasing the crowd. And you can see how he was smiling and moving. That move to get him into that got him completely off game plan and to become more reckless, which is where he started to find a lot more success. And with Randy Brown, I feel like this is something that can definitely play into. Because Randy Brown is very athletic and he's quick. He has an amazing jab. He's the tallest, welterweight in the division. And if he would just jab people, he would win. That's it. If you could just give him a 15-minute focus of just jab your opponent and that's it, he'd win. But he gets distracted so easily. Maybe because it's too easy for him. So he just he'll do it and then he'll start doing this. And right after he does this, I'm like, you're going to get hit right now. Because some people do the showboating like Ben Whittaker. Mm-hmm. They do that in a flow where it makes them loose. Other people think they do that, but in reality, it's like and their head is in the same spot, but they're, looking in a mirror trying to be cool. Mm. It's not the same. Mm. Yeah, I just felt like I just went on there.
You did a little bit.
Sorry.
You angry at Randy Brown because
yeah, because he's so skilled. I bet his coaches feel this way. I was watching the fight and I was just like, dude, if I was your coach, I would hit you.
Okay, but then at the same time, if you look at the fights that he's lost, right? If you go back and so Della Maddalena dropped him and then choked him out. Mm-hmm. Luque knees, close range. Nico Price, close range, knockout. The challenge that he has is being tall for this weight class and getting cramped up against the fence. I think his height is an advantage if he can maintain the space to use it. But we don't necessarily know what the optimum size is for a weight class. And I don't know if 6'3" is the right height for a welterweight. It seems to me like he's sometimes too tall. And he gets forced up against the fence and get made tall.
I don't think that's the case. I think he thinks he's really, I got good reflexes. Uriah Hall was somebody that used to do that. He would get up against the fence and his coaches would say not to. And he would just be like, oh, I get out of the way. And then get caught with something. Because in sparring is not the same as in a fight where someone's throwing with so much venom.
Yeah. But at the same time, Zaleski dos Santos doesn't fight. He's not much of a close range fighter. He would much rather be at a distance, which means that there's more likely going to be time and space for Randy Brown to be able to utilize his striking. I don't think he's going to fight unless Zaleski dos Santos decides he's going to take him down. Then he's going to have to pressure into range to get past his striking. Most likely he'll do that up against the fence. Mm. But the most risky position for Randy Brown is always with his back foot against the fence.
Yeah.
And being pushed and squeezed and made tall. I don't know as Zaleski dos Santos. I would say if this fight was made 3-4 years ago, that it's a different fight. So, for example, if you go back into Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos' career, you go back to, 2019? Hang on, let me check. So, the same thing that happened to Randy Brown against Jack Della Maddalena, dos Santos did to Curtis Millender. Tall, rangy, aggressive, hurt him, dropped him, choked him out first round. That for me is and I think that you're right. I think Randy can kind of be coaxed into being more engaging than he needs to be. But I don't necessarily think that Zaleski dos Santos has got the style that is going to be. He has to get into range to be effective. I think he's going to feel like he can be effective from the outside because of how aggressive Randy Brown can be.
Yeah. Yeah, but he has really good kicks. The only thing that I find that can be a bit dangerous is that Randy Brown is really good at creating angles and openings so he can land his straight shots. And because Zaleski comes from capoeira, there is a specific rhythm that you do, because I've done quite a bit of capoeira. So there's a specific rhythm, and when you're doing it, you're very square. So your kicks come from being right in front in order and following a rhythm to the music, which I can see when he fights sometimes, and I think that Randy might be able to time that if he can maintain maturity in the fight. And
do you think he can?
I think he's.
Are they both on a 2-fight
I think
win
he's
streak?
on the turning point. I just don't know if he's turned yet.
But then, oh yeah, so sorry. So no, not a 2-fight win streak. See, I thought Zaleski did well to come back after that first round against Fakhretdinov, and I think, like you said, it was Fakhretdinov that was making bad decisions that let him back into the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But then, if you look at what Randy did to Muslim Salikov, who beat Zaleski dos Santos,
yes,
it was a close fight, but still, like that was like crisp, clean from a distance.
That wasn't long enough for him to get out of focus. The fight, I don't find, and there were even moments in that where he did get out of focus, and it was only we're talking about within the first round. There was moments that he made it dangerous for himself out of focus because I don't know, maybe he gets away with it in sparring and stuff, but it's just when you don't get away with it, you don't get away with it. And it's like, it's catastrophical.
Catastrophical.
Oh, I just said it wrong.
Catastrophic.
Catastrophic.
You were almost there.
Well, I gotta make up words sometimes.
I quite like the strophical on the end though.
I make up words all the time. Sometimes I just go like from Spanish to English and I just say it how I think it sounds in English.
And you're almost always right.
Oh yeah, it works.
And I'm in the process learning Spanish at the same time. I don't even realize it.
I don't know about that.
Do you think either of these do you think Zaleski dos Santos is gonna intentionally try and grapple, or do you think he'll do what he did against Millender? If he knocks him down, he'll grapple.
Yeah, because it'll be a bit difficult with Randy being so tall, getting him to the ground.
Yeah.
Like he would have more success in the way that Dos Anjos did against Magny. Were utilizing the leg kicks, and you saw a lot of people utilize leg kicks with Randy Brown because he's really tall, but he doesn't maximize his reach. He oversteps with his lead foot, which is what makes it available for his opponents to calf kick him. Because he could be even more out of range and not get kicked and still land the jab. So I feel with that, I feel like front kicks are going to be used a lot in this fight because they're both really good at it. And then Brown uses those side oblique kicks really well.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know where they're at mentally, both of them. And I think that's really the determining factor of the fight because they both have ways to win. Yeah, but it just depends, like, does Randy Brown lose focus in the fight and get clipped with somebody that's so dangerous? And although he's 37, he's had, quite a bit of breaks in between where he doesn't have as much damage as somebody normally at 37. So who are you picking?
I think Randy Brown.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think as long as he's able to keep some space, he should be able to pick off Zaleski and kind of do similar to what he did against Muslim Salikov. I think Salikov's like a better technical striker. I think he's got a higher fight IQ than most of the people in the division. I just think he's outmatched based on his age and his kind of like his physicality. And I feel like Zaleski dos Santos is kind of similar. Like that's why I feel like he's older than he actually is. I just feel like he's been around for a long time. But then like you go back into his career and he's like he's fought a lot of well-known names. You know what I mean? And he had a lot of fights before he joined the UFC as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Randy Brown's,
should skill-wise be able
faster.
To do it.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to lose focus, and I think Zaleski is going to win by decision.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
2-1. I think Zaleski's going to get dropped in the first round, for sure.
You think?
100%. First 20 seconds, he's going to get dropped. And I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to watch it. And obviously, I don't have any,
Okay, then. So with that in mind, then are you predicting a draw like his fight against Fakhretdinov? Because he was dropped in the first round of that. That was a majority draw.
That shouldn't have been a draw, in my opinion.
So that first round wasn't a 10-8?
No. I wouldn't score any of them a 10-8. This is the thing that I find sometimes with like judging is that sometimes you have one round that's like super clear to one person skill wise, and then in the second round, fighter B did slightly better, and then they're like, oh, I don't know who to pick, and I'm like, well, if that would have been the first round, you would have known who to pick, and if the first round would have been the second round, it would have been like, wow, even more of a difference. But because it was the other way around, it's confusing for the eye.
You think?
Yeah. Why do you?
You're
asking my opinion.
We're all asking your opinion. Everybody that's tuned into the
Nobody
podcast.
cares.
We're here for your opinion, of course. No,
they're
I know.
here
So
for my jokes.
It's because you're so funny. That's what it is. No, I think I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is if one fighter dominates, if fighter A dominates the first round,
Yeah.
and then the second round, it's closer because fighter B does better.
Yeah. Doesn't mean fighter A didn't like kick fighter B's ass. You
Right.
know?
It's just that it wasn't as bad as the first round.
It just wasn't as bad.
Okay, it makes sense.
But then like it's almost like, oh, maybe it was close because that shock of skill difference.
Okay. But what I'm saying is that Fakhretdinov on at least one of the scorecards had won the first round of 10-8
Okay.
against...
I think Zaleski did enough to earn his 9.
He earned a 9.
He earned a 9.
Okay. And that was for them, not for me.
No, that was for them.
Okay.
That was for a specific person that taught me about earning the 9.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah. I think he earned his 9. I think Rinat did enough in the beginning of the round to earn his 9. So I think it was like...
Was he on his way to earning his 8?
No.
Okay.
Because Zaleski was the one that won that round in the last one. In the last round.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the first round.
Yeah, no, I didn't think he did enough because Zaleski like came back quite okay. So I think it was first round Rinat, second round Rinat as well, and then third round Zaleski. But then the second round wasn't as big of a difference as the first round, so then some people might have thought it was close. But in reality, if you just watch round by round with no preconception of what happened before, then you would see that's how scoring is. But
maybe they should switch judges out each round.
We've talked about this fight for like 20 minutes. All right, next one.
So who are you picking?
I already said it.
All right.
And I said method as well.
Okay, I can't see the screen. I can't see the graphics.
Well, then just
there's
use your
graphics down
ears
here
and
that-
listen.
Picking on me today. I'm gonna have to report you to HR or something. All right, heavyweights next. This is a weird fight. So Jailton Almeida against Alexander Romanov. The reason why I'm saying this is a weird fight is because Romanov's like there's been 2 versions of him. There was the version of him that was undefeated, and now there's this version of him. And the version of him that was undefeated was 235, 240 pounds, and he could keep a pace, and he could wrestle, and he had confidence in his attacks.
Yeah.
Then he fought Tabora and lost. And then he showed up against Volkov at the heavyweight limit, looking really out of shape, growing his hair out, looked more like Peter Kay than he did. Jamie knows. Jamie will get that joke. You know what I mean? He does though, doesn't he? Like all of a sudden. And the problem is that it's not changed. I'm not saying that he's not kind of turned his confidence around after those 2 losses going into the Ivanov fight, but even if you watch, he's had a grappling match on Fury 8, I think it was, against Chris Daukaus, and he was still like 265 pounds. Like whatever happened where he gained that 30 pounds, it's changed the way that he fought. Because like you go back to his Chase Sherman fight and he's like picking him up and slamming him and manhandling him, and like he's fighting with a confidence like he's not going to run out of gas. And then with the Tybor and the Volkov fights, it's almost like his confidence was broken.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, it's weird. And then against Ivanov, he fought like he fought like he was being cautious not to run out of gas. Like he didn't wrestle much.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying his striking wasn't bad, but like the reason why he was so effective and undefeated up to that point was because he was a strong wrestler. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know how much, you know, like having your first loss is a bit of a shock to the system. It's kind of like a cold plunge. You just go, what?
Like he'd had a lot of fights as well before then.
Yeah.
Hadn't he?
And maybe this has nothing to do with it. I don't know him personally, but like being from Moldova, being from a country that doesn't have a lot of people representing, and in the UFC, you can get, like, if you're American and you fight in the UFC, is like, okay, good job. There's a load of you. But if you're from Moldova or any country that's small like that, the amount, like, Armin Sarukian's already a bajillionaire. You know, Poirier was already like a bajillionaire before. You know, there's, when you're from one of those countries, like, they help you a lot more. There's a lot more financial assistance.
So you reckon there was some pressure that came with that?
Yeah, I think maybe at first it was helping him, and then it kind of helped crumble him a little bit, and he just ate his way up, which, you know, happens to a lot of fighters. It's like, it's a legit coping mechanism when you're super stressed.
Yeah,
you can, you know, that happens to people. They eat too much, or yeah, that's how some people.
That must be my problem, baby. But it was like, he looked so good in those earlier fights.
Yeah,
like,
but not really against Juan Espino. That's a fight that stands out to me quite a bit. Like when he ran out of gas, and it was like, oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that fight at all.
No, yeah, you make a good point.
He had 3 forearm chokes though, where he just takes you down and just lays on you with his forearm on, like, just on your neck. Imagine. Well, like, what are you gonna do? He's like 3,000 pounds, just leaning on your throat.
Yeah.
So yeah, not really like very jiu-jitsu technical things, which is where I can see Jailton Almeida switching it around. Because if you see Almeida grapple, he chains submissions with the thought of what your move is going to be to give him his next move. Yeah. Like, he'll get into half guard because you know you're going to do something, so then he can go to the back. What is quite interesting is that Almeida has all his submissions, well, at least in the UFC that I've seen, all his submissions are up against the fence. Like, even when who was it that he took down?
Everybody.
Yeah, but when he took down Rosenstruck, he kind of moved him into the fence. And what was interesting is that he had this half guard where Rosenstruck wasn't really moving or giving off anything. He was being very defensively sound, not to give anything away, because, you know, with Almeida, anything you give away can be a massive disadvantage. But then when he brought him onto the cage, it gives you the sense of security that you can use the cage to get back up. But in reality, you give up your back a lot of the times. And with somebody like him, he was waiting, especially when you're waiting to do a transition. He was waiting to get his legs over to the other side, and then that's where he started to progress. And he's comfortable with just holding, because he knows that, you know, if he gets his submission, everybody's going to clap anyway. They're not going to talk about how boring he was for 3 minutes.
Yeah. I know people were like I can't remember who was on commentary, but I know they were being a bit critical of him with the Derek Lewis fight. Like, if you're able to be in top position for that long, but like, Derek Lewis did a damn good job of surviving in that fight. You know what I mean? And like,
Mr. Get Up.
I feel like Jailton Almeida wins this fight. I know he's coming off that loss to Curtis Blades, but I don't think that changes the fact that he's gonna try and take this fight to the floor. I don't think that Romanov's gonna have the gas to be able to wrestle hard for 10 minutes. Like, even, you know, I went back and watched his Fury match today again against Chris Delkus, and like, he didn't win that by out grappling him on the floor. He won it by taking him down. You know what I mean? Like, and it was multiple takedowns, but that was 1 8-minute round, and he was gassed after 4.
Yeah.
Like, I just think Jailton Almeida is in too good a condition. He's too big and strong at this weight class without having to cut any weight.
Imagine him starting to use those front kicks to the gut.
Ugh. Yeah, and he was fighting where he tried to say he got struck in the groin.
That was the Juan Espino fight.
No, it was a different one. Because I watched that today as well, and that wasn't. Hang on.
Well, that's one where he did get hit in the groin.
Tibora. It happened in the Tibora fight as well, where it was. He was playing a groin kick, and it wasn't. It was to the.
Yeah, and those are the parts where mentally I just see Almeida winning. Like, it was bad luck for him to get caught, like, right in the temple, in the shot, and like in a fight that he was winning.
Yeah, right. And you only need one of those at heavyweight.
Exactly. So, I mean, it was bad luck that he was caught that way. I'm sure he learned that he can't just straight front kick to a double leg anymore. Like, he should sort of switch it up. I'm sure he did. If he didn't, well...
Hey, that was Curtis Blades, and he was still wrestling him. He took him down in the first, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it first or second round TKO, no?
Second round TKO, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm picking Almeida via second round submission.
I think he's going to TKO him. But second round TKO.
Yeah, where he's like gassed already.
Yeah.
Because with Volkov, it was weird. Like, it was right after he got kicked in the mid, front kicked. And then, he went for that bad takedown. Because normally his takedown comes from being in a body lock and then utilizing his weight and legs. But that was just a shoot because he got hit in the stomach.
He was literally 30 pounds heavier from one fight to the next.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Well, maybe he has a good personal chef. Like, he can't resist.
That's a bad personal chef if that's the case. No, for real. So like they record the weights on Tapology. So against Jared Van der Aar, he was... Apparently weighing at 265 on that one. So Chase Sherman, he was 236. Martin Tibora, he was 239, and then Volkov, he was 264, and then Ivanov 264. I think if he comes in at 250 or under, I'm allowed to change my pick.
Okay, that's fair.
No, I still think Jailton Almeida wins. I think Almeida stops him second round. TKO.
Yeah.
He'll wrestle hard in the first round. Romanov will be forced to wrestle hard back. He'll gas. He'll get taken down the second.
Just have to stay away from body locks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too big for body locks. Okay. Kevin Holland against Michał Oleksiejczuk.
Lord.
Well, no, he's changed his nickname.
He's not the Lord anymore?
No, he's Hussar now.
What does that mean?
It was
Does that mean Lord?
It was an Eastern European knight on horseback.
Oh.
A Hussar.
I looked it up, and the first thing that it came up is like Hussar Grill. And I was like, does this computer know me?
Takes you straight to a food website. So, of course, Kevin Holland is coming off that loss to MVP. So a unanimous decision loss to MVP, a split decision loss to Jack Della Maddalena. Before that, he had the Darce choke against Chiesa and the heel hook against Ponzinibbio. Oleksiejczuk is obviously a former light heavyweight, coming off a rear naked choke loss to Michał Pereira, but more impressive than anything, his finish of Chilean Jaquani. Because he walked through more than Kevin Holland would be able to throw in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
In that first round, with the pure intention of cracking him with his left hand. Like Oleksiejczuk is one of those guys that's just he's found his niche in the world. He's a puncher, you know. And
I could see him in
the
the street, just getting into any fight he can, just to get into a fight,
just cracking people. Like you see some people throw a punch. Even without any coaching, you're like, oh yeah, no, you made to punch. Like the person I always reference now is Ray Cooper, because he's like the most obvious person. He's like 5'7", you know what I mean? He doesn't look like he would, he doesn't look like he would muster the same kind of power that Mike Tyson would if you saw him, based on his size. But he's still got, and it's kind of similar situation. It's fight changing power.
Yeah.
How do you see this one going? Did I do stats? I didn't do stats.
No, you didn't do stats.
Okay. Well, Kevin Holland's going to be taller, isn't he, by 3 inches? Yeah. So, okay. So 25-11 with 1 no contest for Holland. 19-7 with 1 no contest for Oleksiejczuk. 3-inch height advantage and a 7-inch reach advantage for Kevin Holland. Southpaw v Orthodox, I would say that's more applicable to Oleksiejczuk. He does stand southpaw almost all the time, whereas Kevin Holland does tend to drift a little bit. This is Kevin Holland. He either has to. I was going to say try and hurt him on the way in, but I don't even necessarily think he's going to be able to do that. I don't think Kevin Holland's going to be able to muster the same kind of striking power or variety that Njokuani did.
Yeah, but I felt like Njokuani kind of gassed himself out with it, and he kind of, there was a moment where I saw him like, I've hit him with everything and he's still here. There was a bit of panic in that.
But don't you think Kevin Holland can kind of give up midway through a fight or a round sometimes? And if Oleksiejczuk...
More if he's bored.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he does it all the time though. I mean, he was even doing it against MVP.
Yeah, because MVP is a fighter that could bore him. Because he could score a point and then irritate him. Because it's like, all right, but like you're not here to fight to run into the shots that I want to run you into. And Oleksiejczuk is somebody who will run into the shots. And what I found with Pereira, but first with Njokuani, was the attack to the bodies. I mean, and that's kind of where it started with Pereira. Is it Pereira? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was like the punch to the body and then the knee and the turnaround knee, which is something that Njokuani landed. So if Kevin Holland can attack a lot to the body, I think he will really get reactions, because you see how much it curved his posture and his body to come forward.
What's weird about Oleksiejczuk is that he moved down a weight class but doesn't look any skinnier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like he just kind of shrunk. He looks like he could make welterweight.
He looks like he might be able to make like 155,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
because he can really punch. I don't know. I kind of feel like he's gonna be putting so much pressure on Kevin Holland. The time's gonna be ticking for Kevin Holland to do something offensive to stop him, because otherwise Oleksiejczuk's just gonna keep throwing until the referee steps in. You know what I mean? And yeah. I don't know as Kevin Holland's... He's either got to tangle him up and take him to the floor, in which case Oleksiejczuk is going to either defend that and disengage or follow him to the floor and keep punching. That would be way too risky, so I don't think he's going to be trying to do that. Or Kevin Holland's going to have to try and hit him with something weird, like an elbow on the way in.
Yeah, because he's loose. He might not have this straight, like... put a bag and they both punch it straight up. He might not have that much power, but he has a lot of whipping power.
You could walk him onto a knee well. That could be useful.
Exactly. Which is what all his last two opponents have done successfully. I know he did catch Njokuani, but it wasn't as like he was getting badly lit up.
Yeah, but I just don't think Kevin Holland could do that to him. That's why I feel like he can walk Kevin Holland down.
Yeah, but Kevin Holland just goes 2 losses and then he wins.
Is that so? The pattern is
the pattern says that he will not lose his next fight.
Right. Well, just purely based on that, I've got to pick against him. That is weird, isn't it? Or no? Or is this supposed to be a no contest?
No.
Because he went 2 losses, no contest, 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins, 2 losses.
Yeah. Now it's 2 wins time. Kevin Holland for the win.
Is that right? Yeah. Is that what you think?
Yep.
How though?
Working the body.
Working the body.
That's all you got to do. Work the body.
To the decision. You think he's going to beat him by decision?
Yeah, I think he might work him to the body to the point where he like bends over and he gets a darce or something, or some sort of choke. I can see him getting a choke, definitely.
Kneeing him in the body and then
by coming out, because he's like lanky, so that's where you gotta watch out with guys that have that body type, because they'll be long and then they'll bend you over and they don't need much to sink something in, where somebody who's like short and stocky would need to make quite a bit of adjustments. Mind you, when a short stocky person gets those adjustments, your head's gonna pop off, but it's not as straightforward.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to pick Holland. Maybe be a second round submission.
You've made a very good argument.
I know.
You've almost made me choose my pick, but given the fact that there's a pattern to Holland's record, just purely based on the myth of free will, I need to go with Oleksiejczuk and my original pick. I think Oleksiejczuk is going to catch him in the first round and TKO him.
Nah, he's too much of like that. What do you call those little figures that are outside car dealerships?
What they say on Family Guy, the inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Yeah, he's too much like that to get caught with a solid shot. I feel.
You reckon? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
he
know.
rolls with punches really, kind of like Nate Diaz. He like rolls with them really well.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he's so lanky.
I don't know. That's why I feel like Oleksiejczuk's going to punch his head over the fence.
I don't think so.
No.
Nope.
I think you've made a good argument. I could actually see Kevin Holland catching him with something.
I know, it's because I missed you guys. I wanted to make good arguments.
Yeah, you
wanted to be invited back.
I'm going to be stubborn and stick with my pick with Oleksiejczuk, but I think you might be right now. No, I'm sticking with it. Okay.
Next one.
Co-main event. Over 5 rounds.
Yes.
Which changes this conversation entirely. Sean Strickland against Paulo Costa. Shall I do the stats first quick? I did them on the War Room, so you guys could just watch that as well. Basically, they're both 6'1". Sean Strickland has a 4-inch reach advantage and a decent amount of experience compared 28-6 compared to 14-3. Paulo Costa's a bigger puncher statistically. I think he's got 11 knockouts. 11 knockouts, 1 sub. 11 knockouts for Sean Strickland, but he's got 28 wins.
You'd be horrible at cheating at school if you had to bend over like that.
They're my own notes.
Yeah, but still, let's say it's not an open notes test and you were bending over to check like that.
Oh, am I going to fail the podcast because I referred to my notes? If that's the case, I'm done.
You're done.
I'm doomed. I've got no chance. I've been hit in the head way too many times. So what do you reckon to this? 5 rounds is a different fight. Give me a prediction over 3 rounds. For fun.
Over 3 rounds, I feel like Paulo Costa has a really good chance.
Right.
Has a much better chance.
He could win 10 minutes, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Just by throwing everything.
Yeah, especially with the way that he kicks. Like you saw Duplessis kicking Strickland quite a bit and that kind of disorientating him. Kind of getting him off... It helps alleviate pressure. It also gives you something else to think about that isn't only the hands. And what I've noticed is that he's really good at blocking calf kicks and things to the leg kicks and stuff when he's doing a lot of pressure, which is why versus Izzy, he was able to kind of like second naturally block and check those things. But he's not as good, I don't feel, when it comes to body and head kicks. That's somewhere... in the kicks that maybe in his team they don't throw a lot at him. I know he spars with a plethora of people, so he would have faced that before, but he just didn't look as second nature comfortable when the kicks were above the waist.
And Paulo Costa hammers body kicks.
Yeah. And I feel like that's why he's been, because I saw the embedded video and you saw him throwing a lot of spin hook kicks and it's kind of, I hope that's also part of the embedded video and not that he fell in love with the fact that it landed versus Whitaker and then throws it off timing and not with the context of why it landed versus Whitaker. If he does one step back to analyze how it landed and not just threw the kick.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Paulo Costa is that's where I maybe don't allow myself to credit him with that level of fight IQ. You know what I mean?
With his size, you don't need as much.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like he's effective because of his physicality and his aggression.
Yeah, but I would say Duplessis is also aggressive and a physical person. Although he is
he's a bit more puppy dog, isn't he? He's a bit more kind of awkward and unusual time in the way that he moves, Duplessis.
But I feel like Duplessis had this drive to be a champion that kind of elevated him over a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I feel like Costa, after that fight versus Adesanya, it kind of gave him this like reality that he wasn't ready for.
Yeah.
And now he's become a bit Chandler-like.
Yeah.
Where he wants to give the most entertaining fights because it'll give him the most money, and not so much I'm going to strive towards being a champion.
Yeah.
And with Strickland having felt that and felt the leadership that came with it, he's very much looking into this as getting back into it, especially a fight that he feels he won.
So then do you think Strickland will use any wrestling against Costa? Because like that was a point of difference in the Duplessis fight. I don't think we're going to see a great deal of kicking from Strickland unless he's attacking the lead leg. But then because the way that Strickland kicks and the way that he stands is if he's throwing kicks to the lead leg, Costa's going to bowl him over with aggression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would be a silly thing. Whereas Strickland might go, you know what? Duplessis took him down, 5 times, 6 times? And was able to hold him down for somewhere between 10 and 20 seconds per takedown. So they didn't amount to much, but in the rounds that were close, they could have been the difference.
Yeah.
You know?
And he does look a lot bigger.
Strickland.
Yeah, he looks a lot like when he was fighting before, even like 5 fights ago, his frame up to leading close to the fight is nowhere near what it is now. And if he's doing that, it's because, well, first of all, we know Paulo Costa is a very like big individual.
Yeah.
So it might be I'm gonna fight that like, and sometimes fighters do that. They'll come in a bit heavier for a certain opponent than they would for others because of what they're expecting for them to do or what they're expecting to do to their opponents. Which I find that maybe even if it's just to tire Paulo Costa out and make the openings a bit bigger, because like with Whitaker, one thing that I saw that he was really doing really well is splitting the jab, but splitting the jab in different variations, whether it was dipping his head and coming through or coming up and over. And Strickland has just done so many rounds that I think he'd be able to see those things. It would be useful to slow down Paulo Costa. Like once his hair is really thin, that's when his confidence is gone. And that's when you can take over.
When he's super sweaty and he's what's it called? Oh dear, Paulo. Okay, so if Strickland's coming in a bit bigger and a bit heavier, and he's going to come in and he's going to wrestle Paulo Costa for a couple of rounds, do you think Paulo Costa wins any rounds if Strickland comes in and he's aggressive from the very opening? Because so if you go back to Strickland versus like Abbas Magomedov, or I mean most people he fights, to be honest, Adesanya being one of them, he walks them down without doing a great deal, and he just kind of pokes at them and pisses them off and smothers them up against the fence and forces them outside of that center octagon.
He bullies them.
Yeah. Do you think he can do that to Paulo Costa without wrestling? Because I'm not sure as he can. Like as you said, yeah, Strickland looks bigger, but he looks bigger in the way that Jake Paul looks bigger.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of soft and like he looks a bit like a flump.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
I understand. It's
weird. It's like bulk but not mass.
Yeah.
And you look at Paulo Costa and like he didn't look that soft as a light heavyweight against Vettori.
No, he didn't.
But when he's a middleweight, he looks in really good condition.
Well, he has to be to make that weight. And that's sometimes like when, some fighters, when they go up a weight class to avoid giant dehydrations, then they just get like fat. And it's just like, dude, you missed the point of going up in a weight class. The problem now is different.
Yeah.
Like you just created a different problem for yourself instead of solving one, which is what you thought you were going to do.
Well, that's why that goes back to the Romanov thing, though. You know what I mean? Like, was there a strategy in him just getting bigger? Did he think that he was going to be able to weigh on people, or you know what I mean? It's just,
no, I think like mentally he wasn't all that there.
That was cake therapy, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't think that if there wouldn't have been a technical decision win versus Juan Espino. I feel like that was a really telling factor,
right? Yeah.
In why the weight gain after. Okay.
So, how are you seeing this one going? What's your prediction for it?
I think Strickland wins 3 out of 2.
Just 3. You think Paulo Costa's going to win rounds?
Yeah, I think maybe he'll win the first and third.
You reckon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Because of out striking him or out grappling him, or?
I think because he's going to utilize a lot of kicks. I mean, something that he said. Will he do it? You know, fighters say, "Oh, I'm going to do this." Like, are they going to do it, or are they just saying that so the opponent hears it too? You know. But I do think he is going to use a lot of kicks because he has this type of kicks that just like moves your body.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter where it lands. It doesn't have to be super slick or super precise. It just the thing landing is impact.
Yeah.
And I think that, and I think him with having that physicality will help him, like versus Joel Romero, which is another athlete that's very big and he tends to bully people with his size. Like Strickland does that with his movement and with his fighting style, but Costa, I don't think will let himself be bullied as much by that, but more by cardio. Due to giant muscle fatigue. Like, he'll keep going and, like, he won't stop. But he'll get more sloppy to the point, like, with a punch that Sean Strickland landed versus Pereira when he... versus Adesanya when he opened up for the hook up against the fence, created a gap. Like, Strickland is throwing more straight down the line punches that he's going to be able to get Costa with, as well as focusing on creating an angle where he can come to the body and then work that way.
Yeah.
And then you can go takedown of the angles.
But at the same time, even if Strickland landed that exact same punch that he landed on Adesanya, I don't think it would have the same effect as it did on Costa.
No, look at the size of his neck.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So,
yeah, I said decision. I didn't say he was going to knock him out.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I feel like Strickland could put Adesanya on the back foot because he did land a few good right hands before he knocked him down with that. Whereas I feel like Strickland could hit Paulo Costa and Costa's not going to have that same kind of respect for it.
Yeah.
Which means that Strickland's either going to have to... he's going to have to try and walk him down and make Paulo Costa throw and gas himself out, or he's going to have to wrestle. Like, I think the same as you. I think Paulo Costa's kicking game is going to be problems.
Yeah.
And Sean Strickland, because of his style, because of the way that he kind of shells up, the body's an obvious target, and I think Paulo Costa can do well to work the body. So, against Vettori, he went 41% to the body, and against Rockhold, he went 45% to the body. But then against Whittaker, he went 29% to the legs. So that shows an interesting shift there, I thought. Costa versus Vettori. And these don't always add up to 100%, so I don't know where the additional percentages are.
Maybe the air.
Yeah, maybe. But so Costa versus Vettori was 50% head, 41% body, 8% legs. Costa versus Rockhold was 50% head, 45% body, 4% legs. And then Whittaker, it was 58% head, 11% body, 29%.
Yeah, but also Whittaker stands really wide, kind of karate, so it would make more sense to attack his leg.
Whereas it's going to make more sense to attack Strickland's body.
Exactly.
But then you look at Strickland versus Duplessis. Strickland was 90% to the head, 5% to the body. But against Adesanya, it was 62% head, 32% body. So, like, if Strickland works to the body as well, he could do, but he just, for whatever reason, against Duplessis, he was just trying to hit him in the head almost the whole time.
Yeah. I think it's also because Duplessis looks a bit hittable sometimes.
Well, he was. I mean, his eye was busted up and stuff, wasn't he? But he just, I don't know. I wonder whether Sean Strickland will like, hit Paulo Costa, crack him in the face. Paulo Costa's going to stick his tongue out, and Strickland's going to be like, oh, I better work his body a little bit as well. Whereas against Duplessis, he was hitting him and he was like having a big reaction.
He's a bit like opposite of what he usually does with people. When they hit him to the point where they're like, oh, I'm just going to keep hitting you in the head because I feel like you're super hittable. And then he takes over.
He fell into the same trap.
Yeah, he fell into the same trap, but reverse.
So which way are you going with it?
I'm going to go Strickland via decision.
Oh, you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you. I do feel like I'm underestimating Paulo Costa over 5 rounds, though. Like, if it was 3 rounds, I would pick Costa because I feel like he can definitely win 10 minutes.
Yeah, I just don't know where his mind's at.
That's kind of what makes it more interesting, though.
Yeah, I feel like he's a bit like in a Chandler state. I don't know why they kept saying the fight versus Whitaker was close. I felt like Whitaker just kept outlanding him, and maybe because Whitaker isn't as big, he doesn't get the credit he deserves for hitting him in the face.
But that's the thing is like Whitaker's striking accuracy and effectiveness is, in my opinion, better than Sean Strickland. And over 5 rounds, if Paulo Costa's got gas for 3 rounds, he might win this on enthusiasm and determination. Even if he's being a Michael Chandler, you might just be like, let's go, let's fight. And he's just like, if you get the Paulo Costa that fought Marvin Vettori and that Paulo Costa makes 185, that's a problem, because that's a very enthusiastic, powerful athlete that is willing to take a shot because he knows he's up against someone that most likely can't knock him out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is a difference when you're fighting with somebody who don't have that fear that they're going to knock you out.
Yeah.
Are you going to change your pick?
I don't know. I'm kind of right on the fence. I'm gonna go crazy. I've never done this before. I'm going to go a draw.
You're going to draw?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be absolute chaos. And I think potentially Paulo Costa's going to win 3 rounds and Strickland's going to win 2, but then Costa will get a point deduction for grabbing the fence. Or something like that. Definitely something mad's going to happen. I honestly, I can make arguments for both of them as to why they can both win.
That's the point of the Picks podcast. You got to choose.
All right.
Who am I? Guess.
I'll go Paulo Costa then, just so I've got something to brag about when you're wrong.
Okay. When does that happen? That was too
She wins
easy.
a couple of fights and confidence is up. Shit talking me on the podcast.
No, you shit talk me all day.
Veronica Picks podcast. That's what we'll change it to.
Constant basis.
Nonsense.
All day.
There is no video evidence of that.
Okay, should I just start taking videos of you doing it?
I'm training your banter, which has clearly gotten a lot better. So you're welcome.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go Paulo Costa. I'll go Costa by decision.
Okay.
Call me crazy.
Well, Strickland did lose a decision to Duplessis, which is what everybody thought.
I wonder who the favorite is.
I think Strickland's the favorite.
Is he? Yeah.
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 According to Tapology, at least. 78% Strickland.
Yeah, really?
87.1% by decision.
Oh,
Costa is 22% with 64.5% by knockout.
I've made a bad pick, haven't I?
Have you?
I think I've made 2 bad picks. What's everyone on Tapology saying on Kevin Holland?
No, they're picking Kevin Holland.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. All right, main event time.
Go on then.
Oh. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't, and put some comments so we could talk. I don't got many friends. So I just wake up and I respond to you while I'm having coffee. I know. We're just
responding to comments and
yeah,
making puzzles.
Yeah, I like puzzles.
You've done like 3,000 puzzles this week.
Yeah. Dude, the wooden puzzles, it makes a massive difference. I don't like wood that's, especially if it gets wet. Oh no.
Can't use wooden chopping boards.
Oh, I hate that.
Doesn't like ice cream on a wooden stick.
Oh no.
Can't use those disposable chopsticks.
No, they shouldn't even allow that. Anyway, but the wooden ones, although they're a bit more expensive, it's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Puzzle tip of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, but like honestly, like put whatever you think about the fight, or if you think differently, if you think I'm wrong. At least tell me why. Don't you say you're wrong and you're dumb. Like, at least, if you're going to call me dumb. At least.
Vanessa.
Dude, there's so many people calling me Vanessa now. And I don't know if it's because of, like, have I brought this on myself or it's just...
I just tell everyone now you're called Vanessa.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, just,
At Henzo's, one guy was like, oh, I bet on you and I won some money. I was like, it's nice to see you, Vanessa. And I was like, did you bet on the wrong person? Or like, is this like a joke? I didn't know how to respond, so I just went.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Vanessa, nice to meet you. Okay. Right. Tail of the tape. So Makhachev 25-1. Dustin Poirier 30-8. 1 inch height advantage for Makhachev. 2 inch reach advantage for Dustin Poirier. Southpaw versus Southpaw. Dustin Poirier has a much higher striking output. Makhachev has a better striking accuracy and a better striking defense. He has a higher takedown average per 15 minutes by more than double. 60% takedown accuracy, 90% takedown defense. On the other side, 63% takedown defense for Dustin Poirier. What do you think?
Okay, can I give this like theory that I have? Honestly, just bear in mind that I don't speak, the English. Same language. you see,
opportunity
there it is
presented.
On video all the time, just making fun of me.
They're giggling. They thought it was funny.
Your jokes are not that good. I only laugh because we're married. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is my theory. Obviously, I don't speak the same language. I'm not in the camp. I don't understand anything. This is like an outsider's, just, for shits and giggles.
Okay.
This is like what I thought. I think Khabib calculated not being in the corner versus Volkanovski. And this is why.
Okay.
All right. So when he fought Charles Oliveira, right? You have to imagine the scene. Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev in Abu Dhabi. Right? You see the fight start and Islam's like saying some stuff to himself, He was like, well, I don't know what he said. I don't speak it. And he started off and he was kind of hectic. Like the punches was kind of hectic. And he went back and he connected that, that left hand as Oliveira just did random things to him.
Yeah.
Like threw like a flying front kick thing and then like a flying knee and then he just slid back left hook.
Yeah.
And then got to fight to the ground and stuff. But what you saw after was this sense, because I feel like him and Khabib have very different personalities. Khabib's more like the serious, like, get the things done. And he's more like, if you put the Ninja Turtles, he might be the one with the pizza.
Right, okay.
And Khabib is more like the red one.
Okay.
The serious Captain Leo
Islam
one.
Michelangelo is what we're calling him. Is that what you're saying?
No, but listen. All right. So then he takes off the belt, right?
Cowabunga, brother. I'm listening.
Stop interrupting me.
You were the one. You were the one that is like an Islam Makhachev to Michelangelo out of the Ninja Turtles.
No, I'm saying.
Forgive me if that takes me on a mad tangent.
I'm saying there's a difference.
There's a Michelangelo right over your shoulder. Carry on.
Right, there's a difference, and he's kind of been. Because Khabib was with his dad, and then they kind of like
set
brought
the tone.
him in,
yeah,
right. And he's always been very grateful and very not accepting of his role because he didn't want to overstep somebody who's given him so much.
Yep.
Like imagine he's a kid from Dagestan, doesn't like to get to the point of him now. That's like Francis Ngannou, like difference in life, and he had a brother basically to help him through that, and then he gave him the belt and stuff like that, and then Khabib was the one that was on the mic calling for the Volkanovski fight in Australia. And then when you saw the fight started, there was a big shift because Khabib wasn't in the corner and it was kind of like him on his own in a way for the first time. Not on his own because he obviously has that big team, but not with him. And, Volkanovski, there isn't video of him like, I know he has that one loss, but in a way different a weight class, and there was just so much going into the fight with the crowd and with everything that the fight started, and he gave Volk quite a lot of ground. And for somebody who blitzes in and does that, you probably shouldn't. He did make really good adjustments with the knees, the tie clinch knees, and he started to catch him on his way in. But it was kind of like this realization of, maybe without Khabib here, maybe I won't be able to do it. This is theory. Keep it in mind. Theory of things I make up in my head while I'm watching this, because you have to build a story. UFC can build a story, and they put nice graphics on it. You guys buy it.
They're gonna call you after this story.
they're gonna call me. I'm gonna make everything up. Sell the pay-per-views, right?
Right.
But then, But all of this was Khabib's maybe it was father's master plan or something. That it was how to get, because I feel like this is something that you might do for me. And I don't realize, because there's a lot of things that you do for my psychological fighting in the thing that I don't realize till after. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, fair play. It's pretty cool. But now he's, in the second fight, although obviously we know that it wasn't the most ideal scenario for Volkanovski. That was, it's not how Volkanovski should have been in there and whatever. But within that fight, we saw so many adjustments that Volkanovski had used well in the first fight, which is one where he got that leg reap on Makhachev. Well, Makhachev was looking up at the clock, kind of in this fatigue mode. And he defended. When he went for the tie clinch to knees, there was a point where Volk got into a body lock, and he defended that well. So there was a lot of adjustments made to where it makes me think that right after the fight, they went in the locker room and they were talking about it. Like they've been planning this because it was obviously going to happen again. And now when you listen to Makhachev speak, he has owned the spot that he's realized that he is him with his own skill sets. He is as great as he thinks, not as he thinks, but like as he is.
Yeah. Do you think it would make a difference if he isn't able to finish Poirier and finish him as dominantly as Khabib did? Like, do you think that's a part of Makhachev's thinking? Like, is he intending to come out and really try and put Poirier away in the first round and a half?
I think he's too smart to do that, and there's too much on the line. There's to get Poirier now, right? And remember that he had said, "Oh, let me fight Arman Tsarukyan," and Tsarukyan's like, "I'm not going to do that again. I ain't playing that game with you." Which is the same that Duplessis did to Adesanya. He went, "I'm not taking this, this short notice thing that benefits you and your time based on me just having a fight." Nah.
I wonder if Tsarukyan and Poirier trained together at ATT.
Well, I know Poirier trains a lot with Mateusz Gamrot, which will give him a kind of a wrestling approach.
A lot of low singles and ankle locks, though.
Yes, not very similar to
like
how
Tsarukyan would be a good sparring partner, especially because Tsarukyan's done 15 minutes with Makhachev. I know it was a long while ago, but
yeah,
like to get a Makhachev kind of look and pressure. But then it gets me thinking, who would win out of Poirier and Tsarukyan if they fought?
I think Tsarukyan would win.
Yeah, so therefore I think Makhachev's most likely going to... I talk about it in the war room about like we'd need to see a different version of Poirier to be able to solve the Makhachev problem. I don't think he looks any different to how he did when he fought Khabib. And I feel like Makhachev's a bigger problem than Khabib at this stage.
Yeah, I feel like Dustin Poirier's mentality is a big problem right now.
What, because he's kind of like thinking about hanging him up?
Because he knows his body.
Yeah.
And I think that's like coming out. It's reflecting on his, it's not the same Islam Makhachev and how he is physically.
This is his 40th fight, Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, and it's... I know there's only a 3-year age difference, but that makes a really big difference in these sort of weight classes. Anything below 170, I feel like once you hit 135, 35, it's kind of an issue. And with Dustin, I don't know. Like we saw with Saint-Denis, and I did pick Saint-Denis, but I will say he had a lot of staph all over his face. Yeah, he did. So it wasn't.
Oh, that's what we're going to introduce. We're going to introduce the fight week staph card.
Yeah, so if there's staph, I'm changing the pick to the other side. But with Saint-Denis, he used a lot of those tie clinch and elbows that was very successful against Poirier, something that Makhachev does really well that we saw versus Volkanovski. And I find Makhachev's takedowns to be my favorite, so to say, is the ones where he uses his strikes opportunistically over to get the takedowns. Like if you use his knee because you know that you're going to knee back and then he has a takedown off of that. They have developed quite a system that isn't just against the fence to get a takedown, but it's a reaction off of something that they've triggered you to do that you're not aware that you're being triggered to do. Like if you throw a spin kick, somebody's probably going to throw a spin kick right after. So just like, oh, I can do it too. Or an elbow is something that people do right after as well.
It was Sarukian that he was doing that with once.
It was Sarukian.
Controlling a wrist across the body, knee to the body, and then when he kneed back, he swept his base foot.
And that's exactly what Nurmagomedov did to Zaleski when they fought. It was the exact same move, which is what makes me think that the whole camp works on that. It isn't just, and they're just very intelligent in winning and in finding ways to win. Because above all, that's the most important.
So if you're in Dustin Poirier's camp, then what do you tell him to do in this fight? How does Dustin Poirier win? Because I can see lots of ways that he can win, but it's about making Makhachev tired and stuck up against the fence, which I don't think he's going to be able to do, or wrestling/grappling offensively, which I don't think he's going to be able to do.
I think maybe if Poirier gets him excited, if he gets him out of his calculative mind.
See, and I would say that would be a weakness in Makhachev's game had he not already lost to Martins, because even in the very opening of the Charles Oliveira fight, he hits Oliveira and he can see it's hurt him, and just for a moment he gets excited and then he stops and checks himself, and if he can do it then against Oliveira, he's in a different
mind.
That's the
right
thing.
now.
So I don't think Poirier can get him to lose his composure like that. I just don't think Poirier can do that, which means that he's got to do it with pressure, and I don't think he can pressure Makhachev.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're both southpaws.
But then that opens up the lead leg.
Yeah.
And I said this on the War Room as well, is it opens up the lead leg attack, which means that they can both utilize calf kicks. So both of them utilizing calf kicks, both have the same vulnerability that they can be knocked off balance with a counter punch. But only Makhachev has the opportunity to level change and wrestle, which makes the calf kicks easier for Makhachev to throw than it does for Poirier, because if he throws them, he's potentially going to get taken down.
Yeah.
And this whole talk about guillotines is most likely going to end him in bottom position.
And giving up his back he did versus Saint-Denis twice. And if you see the difference, when he got away from Saint-Denis didn't have a body lock. He just had the two hooks in, so he got rid of the heel and then turned. When you see, for example, Makhachev versus Volkanovski, he was able to keep him in that for a whole round. Like the fourth round was a big round for him to rest and recover. I find he was just I don't know, the whole, maybe the trip got to him, the not having, it was kind of his transformation fight and owning who he is. And I find that in the second one, he was sure of who he was and he came out and showed it. And now is going to be the start of a very long era for Islam Makhachev.
Agreed.
And I feel like they had to bring Dustin Poirier in because Makhachev just has 2 wins over a featherweight, basically. Even though he is who he is, it's still somebody not in his weight class. So, and the fights before that haven't been against very high ranked people. Even though he has a win over Sarukian, that was that was really long ago, not current Sarukian. But Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises, it isn't really big names in the 155 division.
Yeah,
but Poirier
is a validator.
Is, exactly. And I feel like that's why this has been brought on, as well as the timing of it, saying, well, I can go Sarukian. And I think it was very, very intelligent for Sarukian to say, not this time. Because they kind of did that to Volk. Volk came in, look at the body comparison to one Volk to the next. One Volk was ready to go. He was the incredible Jack, ready to wreak havoc on whatever comes your way. And then the second one was well, maybe this can come like a Rocky movie and I can pull a hat out of my butt. I want the bunny out of the hat.
Or you could pull a hat out of your butt.
I don't know.
That would be equally as impressive. Maybe
it's
even more.
I just feel like we have to think about the psychology of it.
Yeah.
In the fight. It's important.
Yeah. I think Makhachev
is going to start
smash.
on a
I think he's gonna,
long win streak.
I think he's going to maul him in the first round. I think he's going to probably sub him in the second.
Yeah.
Oh, my neck's aching. Yeah?
Yep.
All picks in?
All picks in. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry we've missed you. Sorry the first bit was kind of turbulent. He kept asking me questions y'all didn't care about, but, you know. Jamie put in the code, the time code, so you guys can...
No pressure, Jamie, but time codes now are a requirement.
Yeah, like immediately, please.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, my love. Congratulations again on a successful training camp and fight. It's good to be back.
Thanks for training me to not suck.
We'll see you next time.